Beat Breakfast with Diana on 102.5 BeatFM.
Welcome back to Beat Breakfast with me, Diana, and my new, someone that I wish I could call like my new best friend. I told you guys, I jumped back on here and said I got to meet our guest for today, and I'm in love, and I think we should be best friends forever. Now, I just asked you, would you like me to call you Dr. Ramzi or Professor Ramzi? You said, why don't you ask me on air?
So, because we got to meet and we clicked so instantly, Diana, you're going to have to call me Ammo Ramzi.
No, I'm not going to call you Ammo.
Then you could call me Ramzi or DJ Ramzi, because as you know, I'm Dr. Ramzi Salti, professor at Stanford, but I'm also DJ Ramzi in the evenings.
Right.
So it depends which part of my personality you want to address today.
Well, I feel like I want to address a mix of both, but I like the DJ Ramzi part for the fact that we're on radio right now, and you have such a great radio voice. Listen to that.
Well, so do you. I mean, I've been listening since the morning to Diana Ayoub, and I've been sharing the link for people to listen in the States.
Good,
and people
glad.
were like, she sounds awesome. I love her. Bring her to American radio.
Oh, I love that.
You know, but Mabruk, it's an amazing show. I
Thank
love
you
the
so much.
vibe. I love it.
Thank you. It is very rare for me to just be watching TV. I was watching a normal interview this weekend, and I'm hearing you talk about your experience and what you do, and I said, I have to have him on the show. It's been a while since I had this feeling, and you interview people, so you must know that feeling of, oh, that's going to be a good conversation. I just felt it. And then he had coworkers that don't normally talk to people so early in the morning, surrounding him in that waiting room, just listening to him and saying, we could talk to him for hours. Wow. Do you think it's because you teach young people and you just have a way with them?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're doing radio, so people can't see that I am a gray-haired older gentleman.
You look fantastic.
You can get away with it on radio, Diana, not so much on TV. So, yeah, I mean, I was on television here in Jordan a couple of days ago.
Right.
And, boy, it was really something to be back in Jordan after being in the States for 45 years,
right.
and coming back here and being able to discuss everything I'm doing at Stanford and on Stanford Radio, KZSU 90.1 FM. And the show, which was actually in Arabic, triggered a whole lot of positive responses, culminating in Diana Ayoub reaching out to me and saying, hey, I watched you on TV, and would you like to come do my show? Which made me really excited, because now I'm trying to do in English what I did on Jordanian TV,
right, in
Arabic.
But I feel like you seem like you're comfortable with both languages. You've been in the States for over 40 years. You teach, you're a professor at Stanford. Like, I'm sure, does English come more naturally now, or are you still stuck to Arabic as your mother tongue?
I mean, since I teach Arabic language, literature, culture, even Arabic music, Arabic never left me. But I do understand when people go and, live in the States for like 40 years, 50 years, and then they start to forget Arabic. I don't think they're trying to be westernized. It's just, you don't use it very much. But for me, since it's a daily use of the language, I love it and I'm very comfortable with it, and I can switch very quickly.
Yeah.
And Diana, I can switch to French quand vous voulez. Je peux parler
français?
Mais bien sûr.
Oui, je parle français aussi.
Parce qu'à cause du Liban, n'est-ce pas? On a parlé du Liban.
Oui, mais un peu.
Un peu. Très bien. Excellent. For those who don't understand, we're speaking French, because I know that Diana has a connection to Lebanon.
Yes, I did go to AUB, but I'm like tearing up laughing because I have this horrible habit of going into French accents during the show live on the air. I don't know why. We have students that will say, I have a French exam today, and I'll say, bonne chance, oui, le fromage. Oui, c'est croissant. And it's just random words coming out. But that was a good French accent.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to talk about the kinds of things that you study. So in this Arabic program at Stanford, you teach what are the subjects that you teach?
Well, so I have a degree, a doctorate in comparative literature, which means that you have to have 3 languages in order to, do that. And for me, I had French, being, born and raised in Lebanon. My French is very strong and still is. And then Arabic, of course, and English. So when you take all 3 languages and you combine them together and talk about literature and comparing and contrasting different themes in literature across the 3 languages, I ended up more in the Arabic department, but I've taught in French, I've taught in English, I've taught classes in all these three languages. For now, because of the demand for Arabic, I'm really focusing on teaching Arabic to American students at Stanford, but with a focus on culture. So instead of taking like the course and learning about grammar and syntax and things like that, to me it's like, let's learn Arabic so we can have fun. Let's play some Arabic hip hop. Let's play some Eliana. This is the whole new
Eliana, by the way. I mean, I think that's a very smart thing. You just mentioned that because of the demand of learning Arabic. When did this demand start? Are you talking, after October 7? What exactly do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question, Diana, because it comes and goes, right? I mean, for me, when I first started, I mean, unfortunately, September 11th happened, and suddenly there was a lot of demand for Arabic, and I was still new at Stanford at the time, and our classes became, huge. So there was that. But then it kind of waned away. And then with the Arab Spring in 2011, there was such a demand for Arabic again, because people in the States were watching people in the streets of the Arab world sort of chanting for freedom, whatever, and there was a whole soundtrack to that and songs, and so it became very popular to learn Arabic so that they know what these people are saying, and that was the birth of my Arabology radio show and podcast, was the Arab Spring, because I felt like, well, everyone's asking me about it, why don't I do a radio show and talk about it myself? And that was the beginning, and then of course wanes away, comes back. Right now we are in a stage where people are learning Arabic in order to help refugees, for example. A lot of people want to work for NGOs. My students at Stanford are amazing. I mean, you ask them why you're learning Arabic, and they say, because I want to go help refugees who are displaced. I want to go help doctors without border, whatever, NGO there is. So it's like such a joy to be able to teach Arabic to students who are going to use it in order to help our people.
That is brilliant. I was just going to say, for a split second, it sounds a little bit funny talking about our own culture as if it's a trend. Like sometimes it comes in and then it's back in style and all of a sudden it's cool again. Well, that's really great to hear. And what is their reception to Arab culture usually like? Do you have any interesting pieces of feedback you got or something?
Absolutely. So, I mean, when you look at the typical Stanford classroom, which has students learning Arabic, and we have a whole variety of courses we offered. I mean, not just language. We've got a course on Arabic music or Arabic calligraphy or Arabic literature. Some of it in translation, so they're reading, the works in English. I mean, you look across the classroom and you see sort of three types of people. The first group are Arab Americans, who at 18, 19 decided they want to learn the language they grew up with.
The roots, right.
But apparently, most of them grew up in the States, and when their parents would speak to them in Arabic in the home, they would say, "Oh, Mom, Dad, we're American. I don't want to speak Arabic." But when they get to college, they suddenly go, "Well, let me try an Arabic course." And so those kids are amazing because they know the colloquial, the Ammiya, and you teach them how to read and write, and they become very proud of their language. So a lot of them don't grow up speaking it, but they understand it from their parents, So they become like my kids. And then the second group are graduate students, very serious ones who want to learn the classical Arabic, the Fusha, and I help them, translate texts that will help them in their dissertations and their thesis. And then the third group is your typical American kid who, out of curiosity, wants to take Arabic. And of course, the first thing you say is, well, it's actually pronounced Arabic, kiddo, but yeah, it's a good start, And then those are the ones who are fun because you teach them the ain and the ha and the ta, and and it's a challenge.
Can you get them to say especially the kha, the ah, like that's a very difficult one to get them to say. What do you say? Reach in the back of your throat, find something and grab it?
Right. I mean, you have to, I've been teaching at Stanford for 27 years, so I have my little tricks, Diana. So I'll share one with you. Like the rain. The rain is very hard because it's not a ain and it's not a ra. And how do you make them say
Right.
So I say, okay, we're gargling right now. So you take your mouthwash, you put it there, you just gargle and go, but you don't go, and you don't go, or the ha, right? It's like when you fog up a window, you go, so
that's a good way to teach it,
right, because they're thinking ha ha ha. I go, no, it's not ha ha ha, but it's not ha ha ha, it's ha ha ha. And so you see these kids like sort of like, it's cute, it's funny, it's entertaining.
That must be a fun
But they
class
do it. Diana, I should like put you in touch with some of my students who are completely American, meaning no connection to the Arab world, and who are, mashallah, speaking like Taha Hussein, the big writer,
wow.
you know. So it does happen. But even if they keep their accent, I mean, I think it's kind of cute to have an accent as long as they're speaking, you know, good Arabic.
That's what I was briefly, you asked me if I understand Arabic and where am I at? What's my status? I understand everything fluently, but when I speak, it's broken Arabic. I have to pause and translate every word in my head, so I get nervous sometimes. It's not as fluent. But I realized from my dad, because my dad doesn't have the most fluent Arabic either, but he understands as well. He's more confident than me. He doesn't care if the accent sounds American or whatever. He speaks it if he has to. I'm the one that's like, oh, they're gonna know I'm not fluent and that it's not and I get in my head. So I'm trying to be more like my dad and just say it. I know the words. It's okay if there's an accent. I'm working on it, but...
Well, I think you're being very modest, because I spoke to you before the show and you were speaking Arabic with me quite well. There were no mistakes. And then the idea of having an accent, what's wrong with that? I mean, even Arabs among you.
That's the thing.
I mean, does the Saudi accent sound like the Lebanese accent? Sound like somebody who know learned Arabic in the States? I mean, it's all about like putting yourself out there, using our language proudly. Mm-hmm. And again, I mean, I think you and I were speaking in Hamiya, you know, regular Arabic, which you do every day here in Jordan. And when you leave the station, I'm sure you're interacting in Arabic with most people.
Yeah.
It's the Fusha, I think, that scares a lot of people. It's a classical Arabic. That,
it sounds to me sometimes like a completely different language.
Yeah. It almost is, but you have tricks, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to teach someone who speaks colloquial, everyday Arabic. If they want to learn to read and write, they've got to go to Fusha. So how do you do that? You give them the tricks, you know, the qaf is an alif in, you know, qamar for moon becomes amar in Hamiya. So just, you know, every alif becomes like a qa, things like that. But that's a lovely topic to talk about. And if you're interested in that, listen to some of my Arabology radio episodes, which are everywhere on the net, where I interview American students all the time.
Oh, I missed those.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see those.
Just search for that, Diana, and you'll hear them talking about the experience of learning Arabic, which is a lot more fun than hearing it from the teacher's side, you know?
Well, this is still very fun, but yes, I would love to hear from their perspective how they went from speaking zero Arabic to like fluent Arabic. Now, Arabology, you said you started it around 2011?
Exactly 2011.
Exactly 2011.
The year of the Arab Spring.
Right. And so, did you know what it was going to be completely when you first started it? Did you know exactly what kind of interviews you were going to have, what kind of topics you were going to bring, or did you say, there are conversations that need to be had, let me begin something?
Yeah, so when the Arab Spring started and everybody wanted to learn Arabic and wanted to know what they were talking about, I was invited to be the guest on several radio shows and TV shows in the States, because they were like hurrying to try to find an Arabic expert to tell them, and I'm like, you know, a doctor in Arabic and working at Stanford. So all these newspapers were like, you know, asking me to talk about the same thing, which was, you know, the Arab Spring, where they come from, where is Arabic, what kind of music are they using, etc. By the 10th time, I said, you know, I think I should be like the one saying it instead of waiting for people to ask me. But one of the radio shows that I was guesting on, I think they called me back 5 times.
Wow.
They were like, every time I do an appearance, apparently people really interacted with the show, and so they would say, Dr. Salti, would you come back and do another segment? 5 segments later, somebody at the station said, you know, why don't you do your own show? I said, I'm a professor. I teach, you know, literature. What do I know about being a DJ and you know, and all this? And they said, we are going to train you. So they trained me to become a DJ. And I, you know, I was probably the oldest one in the class, because I was well into my 40s, but nobody could tell from my voice. And I did the training. I mean, I'm FCC cleared in America, meaning, I mean, I've got the license to be on the air.
Wow.
And I know what to do in an emergency, and I know how to handle the soundboard and whatever.
Does this look familiar to
you?
I love having people who know
30
radio.
Years ago.
30 years ago? We just outed how old our equipment is, did we not?
Well, if they know your age, they'd have to add 30, but you know.
I get a lot of people that come in, most 90% of our guests, or 99% actually, will look at this and say, oh my gosh, those are a lot of panels and a lot of faders and buttons and whatever. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, it comes second nature to you once you learn it, right?
Yes, and it's a lot of fun to be able to control it. I love the fact that you are controlling your own equipment here, because sometimes in some radio stations you've got somebody else controlling it.
I'm so glad it's me doing it.
You want to fade in and fade out when you want to. You don't want to rely on somebody
playing around with the background
music.
And
I have to tell everybody, maybe they don't know this about Diana Ayoub, but she is sitting here. She is so multitasking that she is making me feel great. She has a lot of her family here on the radio, her colleagues are working around us. Everyone is smiling. She's handling the soundboard, and she does it so gracefully that it sounds like it's nothing, but there is so much happening here, and yet she comes through and she listens.
Thank you so much. I've never gotten anyone to say that before. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, I appreciate being the first.
It's because you know. It's because you know what I'm doing, and that's part of why I thought it was so fascinating that you teach, Arabic culture, you teach Arabic in Stanford, but you're also a DJ, and that's a really cool thing. Isn't it a great job? Isn't it fun?
It's a great balance because, I had been teaching for about 30 years at, no, not 30 years, 20 years at Stanford.
Don't age yourself up.
God knows I'd be a dinosaur by now. But, so Diana, I was teaching and I was loving it because the privilege of teaching kids at Stanford and teaching them our language and our culture and all this, that was wonderful. But I think 20 years into doing that, I kind of started to think, well, was this it for me? Am I going to retire just having taught these amazing classes? Or is there something more? And that's when the radio came in. And it's very funny because people go from like Dr. Salti teaching Arabic at Stanford to, hey, DJ Ramzi, what's happening on Arabology? So, you wear these two hats and I love it. I literally take off my tie and suit as I'm leaving the office, running to the station, and then there I chill out and I become DJ Ramzi, and it's almost like two personalities.
Literally the metaphor of a man who wears so many hats and taking them off.
Two of them, Diana.
I think there's more than you know.
Well, maybe there's more to come. You never know.
Yes, it's never. As you saw, you started radio a little bit later than others would start. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, okay. By the time I'm 100, I might be just trying something completely different. We never know.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll come up with ideas together. I have obviously so much more to ask you. We're just going to take a quick break with some music, and we'll be right back. Oh, and to our listeners, if you'd like to reach out and ask Dr. Ramzi Salti any questions that I'm not asking, if there's anything that comes to mind, or any comments that you have, feel free to reach out on WhatsApp at 078-600-1025. Here's Emily Sand with Next to Me. The guest today, Ammo? No, it feels wrong. Dr. Ramzi Salti. This one just came in from our listener Zane, and this is a big worded question. How do you think the rise of AI-driven language models, like real-time translation tools or synthetic media, will impact linguistic diversity and cultural identity in the next decade? Will it strengthen global communication or risk homogenizing? Zane, come on. How we express ourselves.
Wow.
That was a lot of big words.
That's the starter. Okay, Zane, marhaba. Thank you for sending this amazing question. What you're asking about is exactly what's happening in every college and university in the States right now, and that is how do we use AI to help language acquisition, and what are the ethical sides of it, what are the problems, and how can we use it in a way that helps students learn languages. So, I am not one of those dinosauric professors who reject AI and who reject technology. But I'm obviously very worried that students are starting to use AI to turn in their Arabic compositions, and you're reading them going, who wrote that? And then they're not able to defend it. That's a really bad use of AI, but there's no reason not to use AI if you understand what's happening and you're willing to be grilled about it, AI can be an amazing tool with languages. AI in general, of course, there's so much debate on the ethics of it in academia, but in terms of language acquisition, it cannot substitute for a live teacher, nor can the apps, nor can any kind of language learning. You need the interaction, you need to be in a class, you need to have the live setting, and so I welcome AI, but up to a point, and stay tuned, Zen, because the universities like Stanford are in the process of developing guidelines about using AI, and we're not not there yet, but we really need
Working
to have
on
those
it.
out, right?
Yeah,
Right. You can't
I can
ignore
imagine.
it, right?
Zane just clarified that Zane is in literature, so that's why he's very excited about this conversation. He says, I'm in literature too, that's why. I just thought it was a lot of big words for 9 o'clock in the morning, you know? But that's a great message. Thank you for reaching out, Zane. Now, this is very nice. We have a message from Joseph.
Oh.
Joseph says, amazing interview. I was one of those Arab Americans born in the U.S., tried taking a couple of Arabic elective courses in university, but we were all taught the formal colloquial Arabic with poetry. I didn't get much of it. I wish Dr. Ramzi was teaching me then.
Wow. Okay, Joseph, the first thing I would say is I would call you Yusuf, so you feel Arabi right away. I've got a lot of Josephs in my classes.
His name actually is Joseph. Joe.
Yeah, but still, in Arabic, he's going to be known as Yusuf. I Arabicize everybody's name. I mean, even American names.
So I would be Diana.
Akid, Diana, not Diana. La, Diana, bintna.
I would be, you would hate me as a student in your class. Because I would be like, nope, it's Diana. You have to. Since I was a kid.
Diana's a universal name, so you can get away with it. I'll take that. But when when you're Joseph and we've got the equivalent Yusuf, why not use that in the class, right? So, for Yusuf out there, I have, I'm very happy you called, and I have students like you who would take Arabic and they'd be very excited, Diana, right? Like they're going to learn their maternal tongue, etc. And then they get hit with Fusha from day one, and by day 4 they're going to drop the class because they're like, this is nothing like the language my parents speak. This is not how people speak in the streets of the Arab world. And so, they drop out. Again, I tell people like Yusuf that you got to learn the Fusha if you want to learn to read and write, and you should learn to read and write. But to have a class that's entirely focused on Fusha is going to be alienating even to Arab kids, right? And so what I do is half and half. Half the class is in Fusha, let's learn to read and write, which can be fun. The other half is let's play some Ammiya music, let's speak some colloquial, and then I could do, Lebanese dialects, I could do Egyptian, the second part of the class tends to keep those kids like Joseph around, and then they get to appreciate the beauty of the classical language.
I think especially with Arabic, it's different than any other kind of language. I'm maybe generalizing, but in my head, in Stanford, that is the most, controversial, I guess, choice to pick. And a lot of people have so many misconceptions about our culture. And, some of them horrible misconceptions about our culture. So if you bring them into a class and they're even just a little bit intrigued and they're met with only Fusha and how to write and whatever, they're not learning to break those stereotypes that are incorrect or the misconceptions. I feel like what you are doing and the way that you're using arts and music to teach them about our culture, I think that's the way to do it. They don't know. They don't know what we have. Right. And it's important for them to learn.
And also, I'll take it a step further, Diana, because now we're offering courses called Colloquial Arabic. So for those courses, you do not write or read. You just come in and it's all oral and you don't spell it. You're like, Marhaba kif halak al-yawm anta shu aamil? And they're like, just write down what you hear, because they just want to go and speak. And they don't want to waste time on learning the alphabet. They probably will never need it. You know what I'm saying? These kind of kids, we call them heritage students. Okay. You teach them differently than you would an American who's never had any Arabic in their life learn it. So I love that. Can I just take one quick second to send a salam to Ishara wa Mutahiyya to Abdullah al-Isawi, who was the driver who drove me from my home here in Amman today to your radio station. The kid was amazing. Of course, I was telling him all about your show, and he's driving the car, and then he put on the FM and he says, I'm going to be listening all day to this. And I said, okay, just for that, because you're supporting Jordanian radio and Jordanian DJs like Diana Ayoub, I'm going to give you a shout out. So Abdullah, I did it, Habibi. I got your name in.
Good man, Dr. Ramzi. He didn't forget. I love that. Thank you for driving him here, Abdullah. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being the one to do it. I think that was very sweet of you. I love giving a good shout out. I have a question that I want to ask you. Well, not really a question, a fun fact. You and I have interviewed 2 mutual people.
Oof.
Yes,
And
I stalked you. I was a creep yesterday, and I stalked you. I looked at your website and everything, and I of course listened to the Bassem Youssef interview that you did, which was great. I saw that you met Ileana. I saw a lot of but there were two that I said, oh, I interviewed that person, and I interviewed that person.
Wow.
One of them is the singer Hia.
Oh, wow.
Local Jordanian
I love
singer.
how you used her artistic name
I used her
and not
artist
her
name.
real name. Because
I mean,
I think she chooses to go by that.
She does. I know her as a friend by her. I brought her on the show as Hia, and she's great. She's very talented. The second person is Chef Ali Ghazawi.
Oh, my gosh.
Top chef.
Who won the Top Chef competition. Yes.
And I saw his name. I couldn't believe it. I had him on the show. He's a good friend of mine, and he's incredible, and we go to Ali all the time. But when I saw your interview, I loved it. It was brilliant. And isn't he so great? Isn't he a fun vibe?
He's amazing because, people in the States are very proud of him too, and they love his recipes, and he's got a great reputation in the Arab world and in the States because cooking shows tend to have that sort of universal appeal, and chefs and especially talented ones. And with Ali, I met him by coincidence. He was starting a restaurant here in Amman, and we conducted the interview right there on the spot in his restaurant. We videotaped it, and he was so gracious and gave me this interview. But for Hia, I do need to say another shout out because I love the way she sings in Arabic and in English, and how she mixes both. I think that's a beautiful way to express yourself when you come with different background and identities. But I also will say this one hint. Her mother's maiden name is my last name.
Wait a second.
Yes, so Hia is actually my cousin's daughter.
No
and
way.
I have just revealed something quite...
You're joking?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a small world. That's Jordan for you. That's Amman, really. Like someone has to be related to someone.
So shout out to my cousin Seema, I guess.
Oh,
Seema.
That's so sweet. We have to send this to her. That is so cool. I had no idea. Well, she is very talented.
Yeah, she's the daughter of my cousin Seema, obviously.
Got it. Very cool. So what are some of your I know it's hard to say like favorite interview, but what are some memorable interviews that you can recount to us?
Me interviewing someone or someone interviewing me?
No, you interviewing someone.
Okay, so interviewing Bassem Youssef, like we talked about, was interesting because you have to be on guard, and he has that kind of
quickness,
sassy response, and it feels like he's insulting you, but he's actually kidding with you and whatever. So, I mean, every time I talk to somebody, they say, did Bassem Youssef, kind of say, dish something out at you, and
You're
I go,
like,
yeah,
nope.
but it's like once you understand that, it's lovely to interview him because he's quick and he's sharp and he's funny.
Brilliant.
But he can be very political and can be very, very, profound. And so he's one of my favorite interviews. Another one has to be Yasmin Hamdan, who we mentioned because she is the queen of indie music in the Arab world. She comes from Lebanon, and she's the one who gave my show the name Arabology. And interviewing her was a dream come true because the show had been on the air for so long, and she came into the studio at Stanford, and it was one of the few times where I couldn't speak, and I'm ana bala radio, meaning that I was born to speak, right? And I found myself speechless because she was so gracious and so beautiful on the inside and the outside, and just gave me so much love that it was like a dream come true for me. Other than that, I think sometimes interviewing the refugees who want to tell their story to American audiences, and even if they're
in a powerful thing,
that's a beautiful feeling because you're able to get their experience on the air. But a lot of them speak in Arabic, and my show is in English, so I either have to do dubbing or so those tend to be less popular in terms of the listenership, just because people in America listening to radio aren't going to understand Arabic.
They won't get it, and if it's dubbed, then they have to be reading when sometimes you like to just listen. Right. It could be, but that's still a great thing to do, to carry out.
Those are my favorite. Now, you want to ask me, Diana, about one of the best shows that interviewed me?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Have You've
heard
been
of
on Beat Breakfast?
Stop it. I can't handle it.
Have
Dr.
you heard
Ramzi.
of that, guys? Let me tell you, this is the show of all shows. Diana made me feel so comfortable walking in, and everybody who works here were so sweet to me.
I promise I didn't pay him to say this.
Oh, yeah. Let's tell them there's no sponsorship here. There's no money changing hands, and there's no obligation at all for me to say this. But this is one of the funnest interviews I've ever had.
I'm so happy.
Being with someone who I'm so proud of. She is the new generation of Jordanians in media who are spreading love and music and compassion with everybody and doing it with style and humor. So that you didn't even ask me, but I had to get that out.
I mean, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I knew that we would have a connection. I just had to have you on the show, and that's a feeling that I trust. It's like a gut feeling of I need to, but I really am even more enamored by you after meeting you. So I couldn't be more grateful.
Thank you so much. I was so happy you reached out to me. I'm very excited.
And now we're friends. So every time you come back, it should just come to you second nature. Just walk into the studio.
on one condition.
Tell me.
When you're in the Bay Area, you come to my studio at
when's that
KZSU.
gonna be?
Well, soon. Come on, let's start.
Maybe that gives me a reason to go.
Yeah, another reason to go. Yeah, because San Francisco's already a nice city.
It is, and we do have family there. Maybe I should.
There
maybe
you go.
I should make a trip
I mean,
out
stop
of
by Chicago because you have to, but then continue to California,
Yeah.
where you can be like my guest.
I've never been to California.
No way.
I've never been West Coast.
All right, I think everybody listening here should start a letter of the writing campaign urging Diana to come to California and be interviewed by DJ Ramzi, but also meeting our Stanford students and faculty. They will love you. You will find them really warm.
I think we should talk about it and make a plan.
Anytime.
I could use a vacation anyways. It's been a minute, right? I do have another question for you that I'm very curious about, because Dr. Ramzi, you talk a lot about the fusion of Arabic and Western music, and there's a lot of different variations of that. There's a recent one that was very controversial here, and we discussed it on the show, and I had like 50% of my listeners loved it, 50% were so offended. Are you familiar with Kanye West?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Fairuz? All the love. When I heard this, I didn't know it was fake because her name's not mentioned. So I'm listening and I hear the voice and I got goosebumps and I loved it. I couldn't wait to share it with the listeners, and half of them were like, how dare he? Yeah. She is a legend and that's disrespectful. I want to know what you think about it.
Well, first of all, he isn't the first person to mix Fairuz or remix Fairuz. The most famous collaboration
Madonna,
with Fairuz was Madonna. And Madonna, with all due respect, when she sampled Fairuz, she did not give her credit nor gave her any money. And Fairuz sued Madonna, and she won.
Yeah.
And I think that was important because I think a lot of times Western music tends to sort of freely borrow from Arabic music and not even give them credit. I mean, forget about copyrights. They don't even give them credit. So I hope that Kanye did, give her credit.
Is what I heard, yeah.
And even if it's not, monetary, but at least just getting her name out there. So I am really into anything that brings names like Fairuz to the mainstream in America.
Right.
And if it has to be through a remix by an artist who's, either Biggie or whoever, remixed Fairuz, instead of instead of looking at it like it's insulting to our amazing Fairuz to be remixed, look at it as like her name has just reached a whole new generation of Americans who normally would not be able to relate to her songs the way they are.
Right.
My hope is that once they do discover Fairuz or anybody else, who was it, Abdel Halim Hafiz, I think was also remixed and featured and sampled in another track by somebody else. I mean, I hope when people get to hear the sampling, then they'll go to the original. And that does happen because people go, I wonder what Fairuz sounds like in real life outside of that. What's the original song like? And hopefully that'll get them hooked.
I understand. I think that's a good answer. I agree with the getting credit or giving credit part. And I heard that Kanye did get permission to use it. Monetary, I don't know, but I know that he did receive permission. We also have Pitbull, who has a new song called Satalana, which is an Egyptian song.
Wow.
And he doesn't... The only thing that bothers me about this one, I'll play it up next so you can hear it. Yeah. The only thing that bothers me is there's not a single word in Arabic except the Satalana. That's the only thing you get. I said on the show, I wish he threw in a yalla or something else. There was nothing else. But he did sample the song in entirely. It's the same melody and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I do respect everybody who sort of brings Arabic into the mainstream, and if that's the way we have to do it, Diana, let's do it, but let's not stop there.
Yes,
people
that
like
can't be the end of
Eliana,
it.
you mentioned her. I mean, she's bringing Arabic music to the forefront, to the mainstream in America. She's been on TV shows like
she's got a World Cup song,
right,
Eliana. Like that's huge.
And she still sings in Arabic. She sings in English too, but it's possible to get it out there. It's possible to get our voices
Sometimes
out there.
I wonder, and I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but this is what happens in my head sometimes. I hear about artists like Eliana and others that are very similar, that are performing to a Western audience, and they do sing in Arabic, and they are, if not educating, they're at least raising awareness of a culture that people are not familiar with. And I feel like sometimes our own people can be hard on them. And expect more. Why is Eliana not doing more? Why is she doing this? She was seen in front taking a picture with someone who owns a company. Sometimes I feel like it can be too much. Like, I'm not saying let's just accept the bare minimum always with the people that represent us, but let's at least go easy on them.
Yeah, give them leeway. Because, I mean, first of all, the fact that she made it despite an industry that is very, very selective over there and very difficult.
And she announces out loud, I'm a Palestinian Chilean woman. She says it.
From Nasra, from Nazareth, right? And I mean, the fact that she says that and has sold out concerts, that alone should give her sort of like a credit right away. But also, I mean, it bothers me a little bit sometimes that Arabs or Arab Americans, they're criticizing her for the way she dresses and whatever. But then at the same time, those same people are complaining that there's no representation of Arabic music in the United States. Well, I mean, you can't have a very traditional singer make it in the United States today in the mainstream because she's going to be alienating, at first. And then you do get somebody who's able to balance, sort of modernity and fashion and cutting edge and music and do it all in perfect Arabic. And you criticize her too. So then, what's the solution?
Exactly.
Because I really wish we could have, I don't know, some kind of very Jordanian singer make it in the mainstream in the States, but that's not going to happen in the near future. So the way to do it is to pave the way through singers like Eliana.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I just wanted to get your take on those few things because, I mean, if I was a student of yours, I would come to your office hours and ask you that. Now, Dr. Ramzi, I've been ignoring the messages coming in only because I'm so immersed, but we've been getting so many people. We have Ahmad who says, this interview is so good, I don't even know what to ask. Imran said, I must say, Professor Salti, you turn on Diana's program today, your turn is absolutely brilliant. A genuinely first-rate intellect, a smashing character, and a magnificent voice that is quite perfect for radio. A proper pleasure to listen to. Imran speaks in British, that's why he said a proper pleasure. That's why.
Yes, he's probably having tea at 4 o'clock.
Probably tea, yes. Imran's amazing, and I agree with him full-heartedly. I agree. Zayn said the same thing. We have Lena who says, good morning, Diana. What a nice interview with Dr. Ramzi. It's just overflowing, and I don't know,
Diana, you're used to this. You're used to this outpour of love because I know how loved your show is, and the time in the morning, and you accompany people. I'm not used to this kind of outpour of love in Jordan because I usually come in and I'm like, the muhtarib, the guy who's coming from abroad. And just to have this moment with you now, and to know people are actually listening and caring to write in and say something nice to this old dude, I am so flattered. And so happy right now. And salam to every single person that Diana mentioned.
I really hope you promise you'll come back.
Anytime.
I will do my best to come to you, but you have to be able to come
back.
But
you got to reciprocate. Come on, Diana.
I will, you're right. You
can't keep bringing me to Jordan. You got to come to the States once in a while.
If I could just say one thing. I've never been interviewed.
Ooh!
I've never, because you were saying you do both.
Right,
people ask you to be on their shows, but you have your own shows. I've never been interviewed, so maybe you should be my first.
Maybe I should be like the first, and maybe we should hurry up then and sign Diana for an interview on the Arabology show. And we could do it remotely, Diana. So if any Arabology listeners are listening, maybe the next guest on the next show will be Diana Ayoub from Beat Breakfast right here in Jordan. And of course, then the next next step will be for you to come to the studio as well.
Okay, done. Sounds like a deal. Dr. Ramzi Salti, thank you so much for joining us today. I could talk to you for hours, but this is the end of our show, so we do have to wrap it up. Since you are used to radio, would you like to sign off for me? You know the name of the show. It's Beat Breakfast.
Absolutely.
Would you like to?
So the show ends at 10 o'clock?
At 10 o'clock,
wow,
yeah.
the countdown is starting. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to Diana's show today, then you know what kind of person she is. Generous, sweet, wonderful, multi-talented. And the show, Beat Breakfast, should be your daily companion with your morning coffee, whether you're going to work, coming back.
The only thing that bothers me about this one, I'll play it up next so you can hear it. Yeah. The only thing that bothers me is there's not a single word in Arabic except the satalana. That's the only thing you get. I said on the show, I wish he threw in a yalla or something else. There was nothing else. But he did sample the song entirely. It's the same melody and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I do respect everybody who sort of brings Arabic into the mainstream, and if that's the way we have to do it, Diana, let's do it, but let's not stop there.
Yes,
people
that
like
can't be the end of it.
You mentioned her. I mean, she's bringing Arabic music to the forefront, to the mainstream in America. She's been on TV shows
she's got a World Cup song,
right?
Ileana, that's huge.
And she still sings in Arabic. She sings in English too, but it's possible to get it out there. It's possible to get our voices
Sometimes
out there.
I wonder, and I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but this is what happens in my head sometimes. I hear about artists like Ileana and others that are very similar, that are performing to a Western audience, and they do sing in Arabic, and they are, if not educating, they're at least raising awareness of a culture that people are not familiar with. And I feel like sometimes our own people can be hard on them. And expect more. Why is Ileana not doing more? Why is she doing this? She was seen in front taking a picture with someone who owns a company. Sometimes I feel like it can be too much. I'm not saying let's just accept the bare minimum always with the people that represent us, but let's at least go easy on them.
Yeah, give them leeway. Because, I mean, first of all, the fact that she made it despite an industry that is very, very selective over there and very difficult.
And she announces out loud, I'm a Palestinian Chilean woman. She says it.
From Nazareth, right? And I mean, the fact that she says that and has sold out concerts, that alone should give her sort of a credit right away. But also, I mean, it bothers me a little bit sometimes that Arabs or Arab Americans, they're criticizing her for the way she dresses and whatever. But then at the same time, those same people are complaining that there's no representation of Arabic music in the United States. Well, I mean, you can't have a very traditional singer make it in the United States today in the mainstream because she's going to be alienating, at first. And then you do get somebody who's able to balance, sort of modernity and fashion and cutting edge and music and do it all in perfect Arabic. And you criticize her too. So then, what's the solution?
Exactly.
Because I really wish we could have, I don't know, some kind of very Jordanian singer make it in the mainstream in the States, but that's not going to happen in the near future. So the way to do it is to pave the way through singers like Ileana.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I just wanted to get your take on those few things because, I mean, if I was a student of yours, I would come to your office hours and ask you that. Now, Dr. Ramzi, I've been ignoring the messages coming in only because I'm so immersed, but we've been getting so many people. We have Omar who says, this interview is so good, I don't even know what to ask. Imran said, I must say, Professor Salti, you turned on Diana's program today. Your turn is absolutely brilliant. A genuinely first-rate intellect, a smashing character, and a magnificent voice that is quite perfect for radio. A proper pleasure to listen to. Imran speaks in British. That's why he said a proper pleasure. Yeah, that's why.
Yes, he's probably having tea at 4 o'clock.
Probably tea, yes. Imran's amazing, and I agree with him full-heartedly. I agree. Zayn said the same thing. We have Lena who says, good morning, Diana. What a nice interview with Dr. Ramzi. It's just overflowing, and I don't know,
Diana, you're used to this. You're used to this outpour of love because I know how loved your show is, and the time in the morning, and you accompany people. I'm not used to this kind of outpour of love in Jordan because I usually come in and I'm like, the muhtarib, the guy who's coming from abroad.
Yeah.
And just to have this moment with you now, and to know people are actually listening and caring to write in and say something nice to this old dude, I am so flattered. honored and so happy right now. And salam to every single person that Diana mentioned.
I really hope you promise you'll come back.
Anytime.
I will do my best to come to you, but you have to be able to come
back.
But
you got to reciprocate. Come on, Diana.
I will. You're right.
You can't keep bringing me to Jordan. You got to come to the States once in a while.
If I could just say one thing, I've never been interviewed.
Oh,
I've never, because you were saying you do both.
Right,
people ask you to be on their shows, but you have your own shows. I've never been interviewed, so maybe you should be my first.
Maybe I should be like the first, and maybe we should hurry up then and sign Diana for an interview on the Arabology show. And we could do it remotely, Diana. So if any Arabology listeners are listening, maybe the next guest on the next show will be Diana Ayoub from Beat Breakfast right here in Jordan. And of course, then the next step will be for you to come to the studio as well.
Okay, done. Sounds like a deal. Dr. Ramzi Salti, thank you so much for joining us today. I could talk to you for hours, but this is the end of our show, so we do have to wrap it up. Since you are used to radio, would you like to sign off for me? You know the name of the show. It's Beat Breakfast.
Absolutely.
Would you like to?
So the show ends at 10 o'clock?
At 10 o'clock,
wow, the countdown is starting. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to Diana's show today, then you know what kind of person she is. Generous, sweet, wonderful, multi-talented. And the show, Beat Breakfast, should be your daily companion with your morning coffee, whether you're going to work, coming back, sitting at home, or following her social network and Instagram. I think we might be featured, at least excerpts will be featured, thanks to Haytham. Beat Breakfast is one of the best morning shows in the world.
Oh,
Diana Ayoub is where it's at.
Thank you so much. That was so great. Do you know how I usually sign off? I go like, all right, listen to our afternoon show. Follow us on Instagram. Bye. I do the same thing every day. That was fantastic. Yeah. I'm going to steal that recording.
Please do.
Play it at the end
Please
of
do. Or just call me and I'll come on live.
With the time difference.
Well, I make for you, Diana Ayoub. I'll be awake day or night.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure this has been. Please take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your vacation here, your trip here. Enjoy your time with family and friends. Dr. Ramzi Salti, I'm a huge fan. That's all I can say. You just got yourself a bunch of new fans with our listeners too. All right, to everyone tuned in, thank you for listening. Thank you for sending over your messages. He already signed off perfectly, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to play Kendrick Lamar for you. Have a great day. Bye.
Diana's done for the day. More Beat Breakfast every weekday from 7 a.m. to 10. In the meantime, we're playing all of today's best music here on 102.5 Beat FM.